And we're up.
All right, about time. Okay, guys. Hello and welcome to the Heresy Lodge. I'm your host, Dylan Cooper, with a constant host over here.
Gavin Franklin, and man, the voice cracking has already
Uh,
begun.
yeah, my voice is, if you can't tell right now, my voice is really messed up. I am currently under the weather, so I sound like straight up ass. But that's okay. We'll just let Gavin do all the talking. Um, Before we get too far into our review, though, of Shadows of Treachery, I have alcohol. Do you have alcohol? I didn't see
I
you drink.
have I have alcohol. I've been drinking this whole time.
What do you got?
This is it's a cider and it's fucking delicious. It tastes a lot like a mead. This is from Keel Farms. I actually had a drink from Keel Farms on one of the episodes a while back. It's a Florida brewery. This is agrarian because I can't
I'm sure
read.
that's a word.
Agrarian, it is. It's like agricultural. It's like a rural agrarian cider. Um, mango.
Hmm. Always
Mango.
enjoy a good mango.
It's delicious. I was not expecting it, but it's from Plant City, Florida.
Hmm, Interesting.
Agrarian.
Nice. I am drinking from Platform Beer Company, the South Pole Elf. I'm gonna be honest. This isn't very good. I don't know what the hell it's supposed to taste like. The fucking notes say cookie, spice, and all things nice. It's not good.
Little side note about this beer. They anticipated someone like you, and they actually have the definition of agrarian on the
Oh
can.
shit! Like, look, there's idiots out here that don't know
Yeah.
words.
This is agrarian, adjective, of the land. So I think I was close enough by saying rural, farm-ish.
Yeah, that's totally right.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, any housekeeping stuff?
Yeah, guys, we are doing our giveaway on December 11th episode. To get in that, you just got to interact with us. Join the Discord and talk on there. It's a lot of fun, especially today. It's been really hopping. Quite
Yeah, it's been
ridiculous, honestly.
interesting. It's been a blast talking to some of these people.
Yeah. You can join our Discord by checking out our Twitter. It is pinned to the top. Our Twitter's at Heresy Lodge. You can also tweet at us, DM us, whatever, to get your interaction in there. You can always email us as well at theheresylodge@gmail.com. If you're on YouTube, leave a comment. And if you are on Apple Podcasts, leave a review.
Yeah, and guys, do be sure to check out our YouTube channel. We have a couple videos up about introductions to Warhammer, the tabletop, and how to play that. We are currently looking at continuing down that series, going into the minutia of actually playing the game. And we're wanting to eventually do battle reports on there. We don't think we'll be getting those till maybe late January, but there's a lot more things that we need that we're accruing right now. So be sure to look out for those. They will be coming. I know it's a while away, but that will be happening.
Yeah. And if you just want, some more Warhammer content and you like us, get in on that. There's got to be at
Absolutely.
least 3 of you.
Or 2.
Yeah, I'll take what I can get.
Mm-hmm. Not 1 though. That's boring.
Yeah, that's sad. All right, well, let's hop into it. Shadows of Treachery. We're gonna be
You
doing half this episode, the other half the next episode.
you finished this, didn't you?
Yes, I finished it last night.
What were your thoughts, sir?
Dude, Servitor's a bad motherfucker.
Servitor is. Did I not tell you that that was an amazing short
Dude,
story?
it was really cool. Everything about it was just cool.
And the whole time you're reading it, the things he says, like I was concerned that it was going to be disappointing, and man, it was not disappointing.
There's one thing I'm disappointed about, and I'll talk about that in the review, but it's not like this story in general. It's just I'll talk about it in the review.
Okay, sounds good. So, like we said previously, this book is broken up into a series of short stories. However, a majority of the book is composed of 2: The Crimson Fist by John French and The Prince of Crows by ADB. So, every story in between is just a small collection. And I think the way we're going to do this is just go down the line. So a majority of this podcast, hopefully, will be reviewing The Crimson Fist by John French. And this was my second favorite story in the book. How do you feel about that statement?
Let me give myself a quick reminder. I liked this one. Definitely liked Prince of Crows. I actually kind of liked Death of the Silversmith, even though it was useless.
Sure.
Yeah, I guess this would probably be my second favorite one.
Mm-hmm. So characters, you obviously have Rogal Dorn, Portorabo, Sigismund, Tyr, and Alexis Pollux. Probably the big ones there. So like we said in our preview, this story takes place after we realized that once Garo informed the Imperial Fists and Rogal Dorn about Isfahan, Rogal Dorn sends a small fleet to aid his brothers going to Isfahan to fight the traitors, while he goes back to Terra. And Sigismund was supposed to be in charge of that fleet, but Sigismund told Dorn that he didn't want to go, and Dorn basically just said, okay, I trust you, and brought Sigismund back to Terra. So obviously we get the story with Sigismund is basically he has to reveal to Dorn that the reason he really didn't want to go to the fleet is because he had a interaction with the Saint.
Yes.
What was her name?
Pretty Keeler.
Keeler, yeah. So Keeler was with Garo when they arrived on the Phalanx. They must have housed them somewhere on the Phalanx, and during that process, Sigismund ran into her. And she basically told Sigismund that he was either going to go with Dorn back to Terra or die in a random outpost area in space.
Yeah,
So,
on some planet, like some system that no one even knows the name of.
Exactly. So Sigismund opts to go to Terra. Now, when he tells Dorn about this, a very interesting conversation ensues. And it's this conversation and a couple other things that happen that make me really love the writing of this story. Not exactly the way it's written, because I know we kind of discussed how the first person point of view is very weird. However, I think that there's a lot of, not necessarily symbolism, but you can draw parallels to different things in the story that are really interesting. So Sigismund tells Dorn about his reasoning, and what did you think about the reaction?
I honestly, what I thought was going to happen, I thought Sigismund was going to tell Rogal Dorn that he thought the Emperor was a god and that he like worships him. Like I thought that was going to be his reason for staying.
Yeah, because you have the interaction with Keeler. We know a little bit about Sigismund's background as far as what he influences in the 40K universe, because Sigismund is he is the creator of the Black Templars.
And we also have had, I think it was another short story with him. Like he talks about, like he's like holding like a necklace or something with like the Emperor on it, and was like saying that like he believes like the Emperor is a god, but like he keeps it hidden from everyone else.
When was this?
I'm pretty positive is like one of the first short stories that we did.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back and think about that. I did not know that we got that yet. I don't know if Sigismund starts believing in the Emperor as a god until later.
I'm pretty positive it was in one of the short stories, because that's when I first knew. Because I knew that before I even knew about the Black Templars.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
Pretty positive. So that's what I thought it was going. But then he talked about that, and then I did not expect Rogal Dorn to freak out like he did.
I did. I fully anticipated that to be his reaction, because you have to think about Rogal Dorn as a character. So Rogal Dorn is the type of person that what Dad says goes. Like there's no questioning that. Like we get that very heavily in the Council in Ikea. We get that pretty heavily in Ask Him to Return to Terra. You know, like when the Council in Ikea happened, they said no more Psychers. We're pretty sure Dorn either imprisoned or killed all of his librarians.
Yeah, this is true.
because he was like, Dad said no. When he was asked to return to Terra, he didn't question it. He wasn't upset that he was being pulled out of the crusade. He just went. He's like, well, that's what Dad said, so I'm going to go. He has this very idealism that there's a chain of command. The Emperor is at the top, and what he says goes. And he feels the same way about his sons, where he's like, there's a chain of command. What I say goes, and you follow it. So when Sigismund reveals to him that the reason he stayed was because of a superstitious interaction that he had with the saint, and he was like, I also don't want to die on some backwater world. I want to make a difference here on Earth, on Terra. And that's when Rogal Dorn was like, hey, you don't get to make that decision. You're not, like, who are you? Who do you think you are? Like, you're a space marine in the Astartes. Like, you are the supposed to be my hand, my right hand. I get to decide where you go. You don't have a mind of your own. You don't get to say, I don't want to go here because there's no glory in it. And I understand, I'm not saying I agree with Rogal Dorn, but I understand because of his character why he said the things that he said and how angry he was, because that's so against the beliefs of not only the Primarch, but the Imperial Fists Legion. And we saw that Rogal Dorn disowned Sigismund as a son, as an Imperial Fist.
Also, at the same time, though, he was totally fine, not knowing why Sigismund stayed.
Yeah,
so I totally trust you. Whatever your reason, I'm sure it makes sense.
Yeah, I think that should have been fleshed out a little bit more. Like, what was the reason Rogal Dorn originally thought?
Yeah,
I think
it doesn't make sense that you'd be like, oh yeah, it was probably for the super great reason, and then it's just oh no, it's actually this reason. He's like, well, how fucking dare you?
Yeah, that was a little strange. I really wish they would have gone a little bit deeper into why Rogal Dorn originally thought Sigismund didn't want to lead it. But basically, the way it sounded to me was Sigismund just kind of went to him and was like, listen, I'd rather be by your side. I'd rather be back at Terra like the Emperor called me to. And I think Dorn was just like, because I think what we're missing here is the fact that Sigismund is a fucking badass.
Very big badass.
Like a lot of people don't realize this about Sigismund, or actually maybe most people do, but he's probably, I would say, arguably the most powerful Space Marine of this time, of any time. Sigismund is probably the most powerful Space Marine. The only one that I would kind of argue is maybe Abaddon in the 40K universe, but I don't know. Sigismund is crazy.
Yeah, he's a bad motherfucker for sure.
We see in the Prince of Crows, Servitor talks about how he dueled Sigismund at one point. How long did their duel last?
It was 30 days or something. Oh no, it was 30 hours.
Yeah, 30 days would have been nuts. Yeah, it was an insanely long duel, and they just weren't able to come to a conclusion. So I think it's that just speaks to the type of character. And we see in this book too, Porter Rabo even is like, Sigismund, he means something,
Yeah.
And I personally believe Sigismund, he is not a Primarch, but I think he would give a few of them a run for their money, for sure.
I mean, there's a reason he's able to, lead the Black Templars, right?
Yeah, and I think Dorn just really respects him.
Yeah.
Because not only is he a badass, but he is a badass with ideals. And I think Dorn is the type of character that realizes there's not a lot of people that follow his values anymore. So when he sees Sigismund, he's like, great, thank God you're on my side. So when Sigismund says, I want to return with you to Terra, he's like, okay, that's fine. But then when Sigismund reveals, it's because some girl in a hallway told me that I would die in some backwater place, and I don't want to do that. I want the glory beside you. That's when Dorn's like, okay, hold the fuck up, pal. But you see Sigismund going down this path of the Lecto Divinicus and the religious aspect of it.
Yeah.
But the other thing I really like about this story is that's kind of how that side of the story ends. And then you pick up with that fleet on its way to Isfahan. And what is occurring there? They got out of the way the story starts off is they got out of a warp storm, and they were some of their ships got destroyed, including the command ship where the new leader, whoever Sigismund appointed, had died. And so the leadership has fallen to whoever that person appointed.
Yep.
So this is some guy that, I mean, the Iron Warriors talk about it because they eventually fight them later on in the book. They're like, this is some dude that no one knows.
Pretty much, yeah.
And it really pisses Portarabo off, but it's fun to watch, or fun. It's fun to like read about because it's like, who is this guy? So he gets put in charge. He has his ally Tyr with him. They're both Imperial Fists. Tyr outranks this character. It's Alexis is the character that we're referring to. But command still falls to Alexis because that's who was appointed. So Tyr, for instance, he's the captain of the 6th Company, where Alexis is the captain of the 405th Company. Big difference, big jump. And
yeah, but he was like the star pupil of the person that was ahead of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Tyr is basically, they land up in the system that they're surrounded by a warp storm and can't get out. And Tyr's advocating that they like continue to probe the system for an exit point. And that's when this guy's like, well, actually, I think this whole thing is a huge trap. So
yeah, he's like, just like look at everything like around us. Like this screams trap.
So instead, he starts fortifying the system, which is fucking hilarious because this is like what Imperial Fists do. So we just got out of this warp storm. What should we do? Well, we should build some fucking walls. That's what we should do.
Look, it looks really naked out here.
Mm-hmm. It's like they walk into a house to decorate it. All right, so I'm thinking of adding more walls, more divisions. What's the most offensive?
No open concepts here. No.
Nothing. More walls, higher cubicles. So eventually word gets to the Iron Warriors, even Portarabo specifically, that there's an Imperial Fists fleet trapped in the system. So they're trying to decide who's going to go and get all the glory for this in very Iron Warrior-esque fashion. And it's when Portarabo's like, listen, if they're there, Sigismund is there, so I'm going to go bring back Sigismund, which is fucking cool to think about this Primarch, like really thinking so much on Sigismund and the Space Marine. I just don't see it at all.
Yeah.
But Portarabo leads the Iron Warriors fleet. There's, I think, like half this book is the battle. It's a kind of cool battle, so it kind of goes back and forth. The Iron Warriors are winning, and then the Imperial Fists are winning. And it's just kind of one of those, like, I wouldn't say it's super interesting. Like, battles have too much longevity in these books, in my opinion. Like, if it takes up half of this story, it kind of bores me after a while, reading about spaceships blowing stuff up. But basically what happens is he positions Tyr and his forces to board the flagship of the Iron Warriors and to attempt to kill Portarabo. So in this process, once Tyr is aboard the flagship, the Imperial Fists are actually winning the fight. And that's when they get an astropathic message that killed all of the astropaths in the fleet.
She's like shooting like fire out of him or something.
Yeah, and he turns into ash and he's melting and all this crazy shit.
The poor fucking guy.
Yeah, and he basically talks as Rogal Dorn, requesting that they immediately return to Terra. Now, this is something that I really enjoyed about this process here, because obviously the right thing to do in this situation is to not immediately leave.
Yeah, finish your fight, especially if they were winning.
The Imperial Fist could have dealt a huge blow to the Iron Warriors and potentially have even killed Portarabo.
Yeah.
But this is where I think the symmetry comes into play. The Imperial Fists are the type of people that they're gonna obey an action. They're gonna obey an order. If that's what Rogal Dorn or the Emperor told them to do, they're gonna do it without question. There is no, well, we might be winning this fight if we stay. That's not what they were asked to do, so they're not gonna do it. So they turn and leave, and because of this, while they're retreating in this space battle, everyone on board the Iron Warrior's flagship dies. And something like 90% of their ships also die, probably more. And the captain who's in charge, he ends up commandeering an Iron Warrior's vessel and makes it out of the system as well. And for those of you that's a little confusing, there was an opening in the system during this time that once the astropathic message came through, they were able to escape. So this is what I think is interesting about the symmetry of this. You have Rogal Dorn coming in and yelling at Sigismund for making the actions that he made, because that's not the way of the Imperial Fists. And I remember talking to, I think it was Trainwreck about this, like privately on Discord, about whether or not Rogal Dorn was right for doing that. Of course, he's like, Rogal Dorn, of course he was right.
let me suck off Rogal Dorn one more second.
Exactly. But in truth, like, that's just the way Rogal Dorn thinks. Each Primarch has their own way of thinking and would probably act differently. The problem with Rogal Dorn is he's so cut and dry, it lost him that fleet.
Yes.
Because he's instilled those values into his men. So they not only did they lost him that fleet, lost him that battle. That would have been a huge change to the Horus Heresy if it would have, went the other way.
Yeah, because they were fucking them up.
Yeah, and they had people on their flagship, and they were sending in reinforcements. Obviously, Tyr ends up dying, but he dies to Perturabo. They make it all the way there.
Yeah.
It wasn't crazy for them to think of the possibility of doing a lot more damage than they did.
I really like the conversation that Tyr had with Alexis here too. Like he finally gets them on the radio. And was like, "Hey, we got a message from Rogal Dorn to come back," and he's like, "Well, I can't come back. Like I'm already in here. I gotta fucking fight to the death here. But good luck out there."
Yeah, it's a really respectable thing, because a lot of other legions that Tyr would probably be like, are you gonna follow that order?
Are you gonna fuck us?
Yeah.
Oh, yep. I already know I'm getting fucked. It's fine.
Like, if you think of, like, the Thousand Suns, for instance, if Ahriman was in place of Tyr, he would have been like, why would you listen to Magnus? Like, we're about to win this. And when we saw that in the Battle for Prospero, Magnus was like, don't do anything. And Ahriman was like, fuck you.
Yeah, for real.
I'm going to win this battle.
You have people like Bran and the Raven Guard.
Yeah. Was just
you want to tell the fucking Mournival to stop doing something? Now the Mournival's going to keep doing it.
Exactly.
That's like their job.
Yeah, and even when even the Blood Angels at the very end of Fear to Tread, you have Ascalon that's like, I'm not going to tell Sanguinius about this thing that happened because he doesn't need to know.
Yeah.
That's not the mindset of the Imperial Fists.
In the fucking World Eaters?
Yeah, the World Eaters just don't think. They would have been like, oh, you're going to leave me here? Leaves more for me to kill.
All right, pussy.
Exactly. There's the Imperial Fists are, like, if we were to put everyone on like a D&D alignment sheet, right? Yeah. The Imperial Fists are the true good. Yeah. Because they just do everything that is lawful good, is what it would be. Lawful good. And that's just like how they are. So it's interesting to me because a lot of people would think that's a positive, but also, like, it cost them that battle. If everyone thought that way, you wouldn't have Lokins.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have Garos. Isfan 3 would have never occurred. You'd have a lot more traders out there because it would have been like, our Primarch said this. Like, the whole concept is a really interesting one. And I think this shows, like, this book is supposed to show you that Rogal Dorn's very cut and dry, but it doesn't always work out. And it's not supposed to. Because every Primarch has their flaws, and a lot of their flaws can also be interpreted as positives, strengths. Also, at the very end of this book, they arrive and you get this talking point from Alexis. And he's like, this isn't Terra. This isn't what I left. What do you think that was?
I don't remember that scene.
Yeah, at the very end, like he arrives and he's like, this isn't the Terra I left. Let me see if I can find it. Because it's like the last page. Yeah. Oh, almost got it. 1 sec. This is not Terra, I say. Okay, yeah, here it is. I frown. Beside me, Rawl makes a sound like a snarl. The planets turn under the light of their sun, half wrapped in darkness, half in stark light. Weapon platforms and void stations ring them in heavy chains. Ships move through the void, some turn towards us. Even as we look at them, I feel shock and awe. The forces gather here are the greatest I have ever seen. In a star system made into a fortress, a seat of power and unbending might is a place I have seen before long ago. Now it is changed. It has become something more, something I do not understand. This is not Terra.
I think it's more of just saying that, like, because at this time, like, they don't even know about Isfon 5. But Dorn did.
Yeah, that's true. Because
so
they
I
were
think
saying,
it's just...
yeah. Because the whole time they're questioning when the Iron Warriors show up, they were not aware that the Iron Warriors were evil.
Yeah.
So they're like, what the fuck is happening? Like,
whoa, why are we getting our asses kicked by our own dudes?
Yeah. And what I actually thought was going to happen for a second at the end there, and I think it would have been so funny, but also kind of really annoying, is like they arrive in the Terran the Sol system in an Iron Warrior ship and then immediately get blown up. That makes sense,
that
right?
would have surprised me, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, Dorn's like, don't let anyone into the Sol system. And then a trader's vessel, a battle barge nonetheless, shows up. Like, of course they're going to fucking blow it up. You had in this Deliverance Lost, like, a loyalist ship showed up and they were like, all right.
No, you guys are fucking dead.
They came in with like guns blazing. And the Raven Guard were like, whoa.
Dude, there's like six of us, please.
Yeah, but everyone died fighting the traitors, and now you're going to point your guns at us? I can't even imagine. Like, I bet you they're never going to address it, but like, they might. But like, what do you think these Imperial Fists are thinking? Like, I would be shitting my pants. I'd be like crossing my fingers, like, all right, raise all the white flags possible. I want a white flag above our ship in space.
Paint a golden fist out there.
We want to make sure we do not get blown up immediately. But I also wonder, I don't think this is true. It's maybe a little bit of speculation whether or not they actually may have arrived in Ultramar.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm. I think he was saying like it is Terra because he had been there before, but I don't know. It's possible.
I'm very curious on how like something like he's like bringing people towards like Ultramar, and like when they can't find themselves out of like the warp, I feel like they keep ending up at Ultramar because it's supposed to have like some crazy like psyker ability has to be going on over there. But who the fuck could that be?
Oh, like who's opening that gateway?
Yeah.
I do not know. I don't think there's any like crazy psyker in there.
Because I mean, that's why the fucking Blood Angels ran into Gilliman. I feel like didn't someone before also end up in Ultramar?
Let's see here. We had the Blood Angels show up there. The Iron Hands. Because they were in the Lion short story. They were following Gilliman. The Lion said he's going to Ultramar. Obviously the Word Bears are in Ultramar. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's going to be a few more. I think there's going to be a few
I know
more
the World
people.
Eaters end up over there.
I'm pretty sure the salamanders end up over there too.
All 12 of them.
Yeah, all 12 Actually, that might be an accurate number. Yeah, so I don't know if these guys are in Ultramar or not, but it's an interesting setup. So yeah, that's the Crimson Fist. Really enjoyed that story. I like the parallels. I like how it made me think about whether or not Rogal Dorn was correct, in the way that he thought, or whether that was just a flaw of his.
Yeah. Also, I thought this was just like a fun scene when Rogal Dorn was like in the room with the statues, and all the traders have like a thing like put over their heads.
Yeah, when Sigismund.
Yeah, and Sigmund's like, I would destroy these. Do you want me to destroy them? And he's like, nah. It's okay.
Yeah, he said it hasn't come to that.
Yeah.
Which is funny because the two Lost Primarchs aren't destroyed either.
Yeah. They're just like their faces are like scratched out or something.
Yeah, so it makes me wonder, like what would have to happen to get your statue destroyed. So that's the first story. Like I said, second favorite. I don't know how important it is to the heresy yet. I don't know how important these characters are. Obviously, we see Sigismund, but I don't know whether or not like his confession is going to be like a crazy importance to the heresy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah. Then we have The Dark King by Graham McNeill. This is a cool little short story about the relationship and a scenario that occurred between Rogal Dorn and the Night Haunter. So their relationship is highlighted a lot in this book, and I fucking love it. So the Night Haunter is obviously this very brutal person. Did you see what I was saying in the preview though, where you were like, obviously this guy's right because he's like, they have to have fear, but then Servitor really questions that.
Yes, because especially when he's like, what the fuck do all the other legions do? They don't do this.
Yeah, and he's right. Like I love how Servitor in that story, and we'll get to that probably next episode.
Yeah, really, like a 45-minute talk.
Yeah, he really puts it up against Conrad Kurze, and even Conrad doesn't even answer. And the answers he gives are kind of shitty. He's like, well, they didn't go through what we went through.
Yeah, pretty much is like, okay.
I love Servitor because he makes you think about these things, but you see this in the Dark King. The Emperor's children, the Night Lords, and the Imperial Fists have all made this one planet compliant. And the Night Haunter has decided to take it upon himself to kill multiple captured citizens in order to make sure that they know that if they fuck up, the Night Haunter's going to kill them.
Yep.
Once he leaves. I don't like. It would take quite a few thousand murders all around the planet, I think, to really instill that level of fear. Because him pulling aside 10 people from the planet's population, I mean, like, all right, you will all die. I don't think, if that happened in the United States, China.
I mean,
scared.
like, that talks about in Prince of Crows, he like when on like his own planet, he was like putting that like through entire box, like broadcasting it. So
right.
Maybe he was doing that to them too, just broadcasting them being skinned alive.
That's when Dorn shows up and he's all like,
"Yo, that's
what
fucked.
the fuck are you doing?" And Dorn basically requests leadership of the entire place, and he gets it. He's just like, you know what? Get out of here. The Imperial Fists are going to take over. And I'm sure the Imperial Fists did very well establishing compliance. I'm sure
they did.
Yeah, they didn't
without
even
murdering the citizens.
Absolutely. But the second half of the story, and something that's really upsetting, so we don't really get to see the fight. But the second half of the story is Fulgrim, the Night Haunter, conveys to Fulgrim that he has visions of his death and the Imperium falling. And this is a couple flaws making its way through. I fucking love how this is written too, because the Night Haunter has premonitions of people's deaths, but also the future in general. He has seen the fall of the Imperium as we know it. Fulgrim being Fulgrim, which is another flaw of Fulgrim. Man, you cannot tell Fulgrim anything.
Yeah, you don't tell Fulgrim secrets.
Which is another like a great parallel because Fulgrim we know is very Slaanesh based, and they're really big on like lies and secrets, and like they're the demon princes are called the keepers of secrets. So like that Fulgrim like very comes out that way. Like, oh yeah, you can trust me. You can trust me. Like we're really close brothers. Like I said, he's very good. Like when Magnus was put on trial, they sent Fulgrim and Sanguinius.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Magnus, like he talks about how like he can see through Fulgrim so easily because he's literally just a veil of lies. Like he presents himself to you as this like loving character, but he's only after to benefit himself. And so Fulgrim tells Rogal Dorn for no reason that Conrad Kurze is saying these things, and Rogal Dorn views that as heresy. Rogal Dorn does not like Psychers. I don't know if this is after the Council of Nicaea or not. I believe it is. And Rogal Dorn, but previously Rogal Dorn, growing up, didn't like Psychers. His planet was controlled by them, very similar to the way Mortarian's planet was. So he decided to take it upon himself to confront Conrad Kurze, in which Conrad Kurze attempts to kill Rogal Dorn and almost does it. It's fucking crazy, but I wish I would have actually seen it. It would have been way crazier.
It would have been way cooler.
Yeah. But basically the next scene that you see is the Night Haunter aboard the flagship outside of his homeworld in Nostromo, and he's being hunted down by the Imperial Fists. Like what's crazy to me is this is pre-heresy, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And
hey man, I was told Space Marines don't fight Space Marines.
Yeah, it's
like
very
35
clear.
times.
It's very, very clear that the Night Haunter was actually on a list, like a shit list of the Emperor. Like I really think that their execution was ordered. Because we have the Imperial Fist chasing the Night Haunter, and then we have the Night Lords blowing up their homeworld because of the increased crime rate. Conrad Kurze wanted to prove a point. He was like, listen, I told them that I would come back and destroy them if things got bad, and things got bad, so he went back and destroyed them. So obviously his method doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of pisses him off a little bit because it's like, hey, this isn't working, and it shows that it's not working. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes you wonder, why the Emperor let him get away with it for so long. Because we talk about in Prince of Kurze as well, like they're like impressed with like the compliance of his planet, but it could have taken very many years before they noticed like what the fuck he was doing.
Yeah, and that's why I actually think, like I was saying, I'm pretty sure that his execution was ordered. I think there were several Primarchs up to be cut from the chopping block, and we obviously saw Lorgar. But he was able to save himself from that a little bit. I think that was a moment of weakness by the Emperor. I think he probably should have killed Lorgar. But in the first 3 books, the second and third in particular, we see that Angron was also on the chopping block. There was a lot of requests, the Emperor saying that the way that he was fighting war was incredibly fucked up. And the Emperor told Horus that he needed to get a hold of that. So I think Angron and the Night Haunter were both, they were both on like the list, or the probably even, shit. What's his name? Why am I blanking on the Wolf King? Leman Russ.
Leman Russ.
But I wouldn't be surprised if the Imperium continued to go on. I wouldn't be surprised if Leman Russ was sent to kill Angron, Conrad, and even Magnus, even if he didn't fuck up like he did. I wouldn't be surprised if he was on that list too. And then potentially maybe even Lorgar if he kept doing his shit. But
I don't think Magnus would have been on the list if he didn't fuck up. Because I think he's still so important for the Webway project.
It's true. But would Leman Russ been able to kill the Night Haunter?
I don't know. Apparently, the fucking lion almost did, so I'm gonna assume Lee can.
Well, Lehman talks at one point in the Heresy about how he thinks the Night Haunter is one of the very few Primarchs, one of only two that he couldn't be able to beat in combat.
Probably because he's like, man, what the fuck?
Exactly. So he's very confused on how to deal with him because he's so fucking crazy.
He's just like spinning around in circles, like rah! Rah! Like, what is happening?
You have all of the other Primarchs like, hey, Lehman, can you take care of that? And then it's like, I don't think I can. Do you see how well he spins? And everyone else is like, Lehman, I'm pretty sure you can take him out. And he's like, he's very scary.
He's got claws and he's just spinning around in circles. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, but he basically says that he's like too chaotic. Like he has no idea. Madness is not something you can predict. That's the problem with him. So I don't know. Maybe not. The Night Haunter is fucking badass in my opinion.
Yeah, he is
but
very
also
big badass.
After reading this, I actually think he's kind of stupid.
Yeah, that he's not a smart man, but
no, I am not a smart man, but I do enjoy killing things.
I do think I really like the Night Lords.
Yes, I thought I was gonna like the Night Haunter a lot more than I did, but I think he's kind of a baby.
Yeah,
he's a bit of a baby.
I feel like I'm really gonna like all the characters of the Night Lords and just not really care much for Conrad Kurze.
Yeah, anytime I get to read about Servitor, I think it's gonna be fucking awesome.
Yeah, that and like the fact that like most of them are like gang leaders or like whatever. Like I feel like they all will have like interesting stories, whereas like Kurze, he has like an interesting story. He just gets fucking weird.
Yeah. Bah! Spin. Bah! Okay, so that was the Dark King. That was pretty interesting. It's worth a read, but it's not like super important because they didn't actually have the fight. Like if they had the fight, I've been like, read that shit. It's awesome. And then we have the Lightning Tower. So this was my third favorite book here. So the Lightning Tower is a talking piece. This was written by Dan Abnett. It's also an audio drama, which I think it would play out very well as an audio drama because it's basically a conversation between Rogal Dorn and Malcador. So Dorn's having a lot of second thoughts about tearing up this beautiful palace to put in walls.
Yes.
Dorn is like, I've been putting up walls my whole life. One day I would just really like to build a bridge.
I just want to make things pretty.
It seems like a damn shame to build another wall. But if we're going to do it, it's going to be the biggest wall you've ever damn seen.
It's going to be big, it's going to have guns, and it's going to be great.
Listen, I'm going to build a wall. It's going to be the biggest wall I've ever seen. We're going to call China. They know how to build walls. That's Rogal Dorn. Rogal Dorn is the Donald Trump of the 40K universe. He knows how to build his walls. He won't stop talking about them. And he's going to get Horus to pay for it.
Damn right I am.
So you have the conversation is basically centered around why Dorn is having this problem. Like why he's struggling with this right now. And he believes it's because he fears something. And you actually boil it down to three things that he's fearing. But he's walking among all of the Primarch statues again. So this is the second scene in this book that is in the same location. And he is going through all the names of the Primarchs. Now, obviously, while I'm reading this, I'm waiting for Conrad Kurze's name to pop up, but it doesn't. He goes through all of the traitors, but misses Conrad Kurze. And he lands the last one on Horus. And he's like, I'm not scared of Horus, but the first realization he has is that he's scared of what Horus, like why he turned.
Yeah.
Because he's concerned that he's concerned that if he knows then
If you
maybe
convince him to turn.
exactly. And then you have Malkador kind of coming in and be like, yeah, but Horus is corrupted by chaos. And Rogal Dorn's like, well, it's chaos. Like Rogal Dorn didn't know.
Come on, you know.
Yeah, and Malkador's like, oh, sweet Rogal. Like half of your brothers know this. You should probably know this. You seem like a bit of an idiot.
Half your brothers have left us for them. You better fucking figure this shit out.
Yeah, Lorgar's been sucking their dick for years, dude. What are you talking about? Fulgrim's over there having weird snake orgies. Trust me, he knows. So I find the fact that Rogal Dorn doesn't know just to show he's a bit of a simpleton. He doesn't need to know about the warp. It's just a means of transportation. He'll let Big E deal with that. He doesn't need to think about that. He's just there to build walls and put guns on them. And he does his job really well. But you have that realization, and then you have the second realization. I can't remember what was the second thing he feared. The third one was the Night Haunter. But there was a second one that he had that was like, oh, I also fear this. And I think it was the death of the Imperium.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you get that a lot with Rogal Dorn. He's realizing that, like we kind of talked about last episode, like they've already lost. Because they have to sacrifice so much of what makes the Imperium great in order to win this battle. That they know, or at least Rogal has come to this realization that at the end of the day, even if they defeat Horus, it's going to be at the cost of the Imperium that Horus was trying to take anyway.
Yeah.
So Rogal's having a tough time dealing with that. And then, of course, the third realization is the Night Haunter.
Way deeper.
Yeah, and then he was like, oh, yeah, forgot about that guy.
That dude is fucking scary.
He almost killed me. Yeah, and Rogal Dorn, he talks about it, and what he does say, it makes sense. He was like, he just doesn't make sense to me what the Night Haunter represents, because he just is all about murder and fear, and I don't want that for the Imperium, and it doesn't make any sense. And in Rogal's defense, it doesn't. Not even fucking the Night Haunter knows why he does all that stuff. He's like, oh shit, it doesn't work. But at the end of the day, I think Rogal's he might actually be a little scared of the Night Haunter himself.
Scary motherfucker, man.
He is. He's creepy as hell. And the audiobook of this was really fucking good. And the Night Haunters, or not the Night Lords, they do a really good job voicing them. They kind of have this like Slovenian.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. It's like snaky talk. Spin around.
It'll kill you.
I'm a snake. And then you have fucking Lehman Russ. Oh God, he's a snake. Better watch out, guys.
He's a snake. He's spinning. He's making weird noises. I don't think I can fight this guy.
He's so scary. I'm gonna go kill Magnus instead. That seems like a much more reasonable Primarch.
You know what?
That rings and can kill things with his mind. I can kill that.
I'm gonna help the Imperium.
Yeah. But I'm not gonna deal with that spinning snake, man. That's scary, man.
Dad can deal with that shit.
So I really enjoyed the Lightning Tower. It was an interesting conversation. It was really cool to get more of Dorn's insight. It's always fun to be in the garden of Primarchs. Then we have the Kaban Project, also by Graham McNeill. Couldn't give a shit less about the Kaban Project.
This was the worst one by a landslide.
So
it's one of those Graham McNeill just full on kill me.
Yeah, it's like a prequel. We talked about this. A prequel to Mechanicum, which we all asked for.
Yes, we did.
I was raving. Where did Mechanicum fall in our rankings? It was like third worst.
Was the second worst with Outcast Dead behind it? Oh yeah, I can pull it up. I have it right here.
I think Outcast Dead and maybe the first Dark Angels book.
Hold on, dude. Book rankings. I'm opening it right now. Okay, so. Oh wait, I had it 17th, but I think we ended up putting it 18th.
Which would be second to last, or
Yeah, I think we went Outcast, Dead, Mechanicum, Nemesis, maybe.
yeah, okay, yeah. So it was second to last book on the list, and this book centers on the creation of the killer robot. Oh, you mean you don't remember the killer robot? Well,
I did not remember the killer robot
it
at
took me
all.
like it took me like halfway through the book to be like, oh, is this about that thing? The thing that I didn't care about to begin with? Well,
Wait,
guess what?
was this the one that was hunting down?
Yes. It was the one in the
Really?
beginning. Yeah. It was the one in the beginning that the Titan was fighting. Not the Titan, the Knight.
Oh yeah, and those dudes went on like a fucking hunt for the entire book, just
To
fucking
kill
trying
this
to
thing.
follow it. Yeah.
Yeah. Did they end up killing it?
Really? Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
not
because
even
they
that
killed
great.
that, and then they became the protector of what's her face.
We are the Sentinels of the Dragon.
Yes, the dragon.
Which means nothing to the story. Bye. Great.
The book is gone. Shit.
So check this out. This is a prequel to the origin story of a robot that shows up in one of the worst books and then dies to lead to character development of characters that will not play a part in the heresy. You're welcome.
We
Thank
really
you.
needed this.
This was the missing piece of all the things we were confused about. Now we know how the Kaban project started.
And the
So
worst part is it was long as fuck.
it really was.
Like I was actually like reading this one, and I got tired after like 8 pages. Like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna take a nap instead.
Man, I gotta chill out. There's so much character progression in this. So basically, it's the story about how this robot was created through artificial intelligence, and there was a
No way.
AI. And the way the AI is like done in this book is so like sci-fi AI
Yes,
shit.
it is.
It's so ridiculous. It's like,
Some
but
Odyssey shit.
I thought you were my friend. My friend. Are you not my friend?
Yeah, this is straight up 2001 Space Odyssey.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's like no AI would have that kind of conversation thing. So you have that, and basically the acolyte, it reveals the fact that he believes the AI is learning and having a conversation with him, which is against the law, and he reports that to his Crumb, which is his like I don't know, the person in charge of him. And, you know, on his way to tell Crumb about this, he interacts with 17 or 18 AIs.
Every servitor.
Yeah, he does a bunch of AI stuff in order to tell Crumb about the illegal AI that's happening in the basement. And Crumb's like, oh, no. Well, work on it anyway.
That's a shame. Make sure it keeps working. Don't piss it off.
Yeah, exactly. And then he shows up and he's like, you really shouldn't exist because you're illegal. And the A is like, I thought you were my friend.
Why am I illegal?
What? Why does the Emperor not love me?
Yeah, and then like fucking it's Guitar that show up, right, to kill him.
Yeah, and then the AI kills him. It's like, why did you just kill them?
You
Because you
are
were
my friend.
It's like, oh wow, this is a really intricate AI. He knows how to say one line over and over again.
But like this whole like concept too was like, oh, if he can start, he just killed people without being told. No, how are we ever gonna stop something like that? That just does whatever it wants, and then it's like, oh, you mean like a random fucking human with a gun?
Or maybe a sentry gun that you put up to shoot at anything that walks by.
Yeah.
Now I understand you're telling it to, but if you walked by, I don't know. Like I get what it's saying. It's like, oh, you killed without premonition. But I feel like there's so many other bigger problems.
Yes.
You
Much
know?
bigger problems.
Yeah. And what's kind of crazy, and a lot of people don't get about AIs, is like there's always a power button.
Yep. Well,
You know?
look, they even showed in this book. They turn it off.
Yeah,
They
that's true.
literally
They
turn
did
it
do that.
off.
Oh, well, we're gonna have to shut you down.
Okay, we're gonna turn it back on. Leave the guns off.
he goes, sir, the AI is learning. Have you tried turning it off and on?
Fixes all of our
I didn't
bugs.
think about that. All of a sudden, he just forgets about everything. So Crumb is obviously trying to kill this acolyte dude, and he's on the escape. They hire an assassin, the same assassin from the Mechanicum book, to kill this guy. He gets told by some priest, a priest that worships the Omnissiah and who believes the Emperor is the Omnissiah, which I don't know about. Probably not, since we know the Omnissiah is an actual dragon thing in a cave on Mars. But he gets told to go back to his previous owners, and
Well,
then
no, he tells him to go to someone who believes the same as him.
yeah, because and he thinks that his previous owner did.
Which I feel like if he was with this previous owner for so long, you would know if you think the Emperor is the Omnissiah. So the fact that he gets all the way back there and then realizes he's not like that, it's like, dude, what? Did he not pay attention the entire time?
Yeah, because he's like, oh, this guy praises the Emperor as the Omnissiah, and then he gets revealed that this guy's like,
dude, he's like, dude, fuck the Emperor.
Emperor's a piece of shit. I want to fucking kill that guy.
How dare him tell us what we can and cannot do.
I want to make AI robots.
Although, I do want to have this interesting conversation of what his boss created, his former one. He created a Dreadnought for Horus.
I think it's just his power armor.
Really? You don't think it's like, if in case like Horus were to almost die, he couldn't just be put into it?
Maybe.
That's what I was assuming.
I don't know. I'd have to look at that and read it again. I wasn't aware that it was.
Because they called it a Dreadnought.
Really? Did they really?
Uh-huh.
Let's see. It's like right around here. I think it's right here. Yeah, here it is. More massively proportioned than the Mark IV armor, its limbs were constructed from heavy gauge plasteel plating and painted midnight black. Oh, you're right. Tactical Dreadnought armor. Most wondrously exquisite suit of tactical Dreadnought armor he had ever seen. But then he compared it to the Mark IV armor.
Yeah, it's confusing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it is a description of the armor that Horus wears. I think it's like the armor that he's going to get. But yeah, really interesting to decide to do that.
Because I thought, like, man, they'd be like, just in case if you were to almost die, they could just throw him in a Dreadnought.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting concept, but I feel like it's very similar to the armor that like Portarabo wears.
Yeah, I could see that. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Next up, we have.
I remember we're at 58 minutes. That would put us right at the halfway mark, right? As far as the books.
Yeah, it's a little bit past the halfway mark. I just wanted to make sure we had enough time to do Prince of Crows, but I think we'll be able to cover the first two pretty quickly next week. But
yeah, I mean, fucking the Silver Ship one's 15 pages.
Yeah, we didn't finish up on what happened of the Kaban Project. So he flees yeah, he flees and then he sees the robot.
Yeah, he gets
like,
so he skipped a lot.
No longer, my friend.
He goes back to his old boss. His old boss shows that, you know, he's all for Crom. And like Crom shows up too. And like they like let him run away.
Yeah, and then he comes face to face with the Kaban, the actual Kaban like machine, the one on the rolling thing or whatever it was.
Yeah.
He's all like, "You are no longer my friend. You
Yeah.
wanted to kill me."
Why did you want me to die? I thought we were friends.
And then he kills him.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the story.
And you know what? Chad deserved it. He made a lot of bad decisions, so he kind of
And
got what he
then
deserved.
the Kaban machine deserved what he got.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's a lot of deserving going around. So yeah, that was the first 4 books of Shadows of Treachery.
Yeah. I mean, this has definitely been like a top-notch one. This is definitely way better than like Primarch's was.
It's the best novella series, I would say. I think that what's the Prince of Crows is the best short story I've read. But of course, like The Last Church is just so different.
Yeah,
You know
it's almost like a different, just like
genre.
yes.
It's hard to compare the two. But having Last Church, having the Crimson Fist, having the Lightning Tower, having the Dark King, all in one book, they're all interesting short stories. Like I can't think of. I mean, you have the Kaban Project and you have Raven's Flight, which are relatively boring, but it's such a small portion of this book. So I really think that this is such a top-notch novella series based off of how many quality ones there are.
Yeah, I agree. I like it. I don't think I wasn't able to get my rankings last time. Enjoyment, I would probably put this at probably an 8 to 9.
Really?
The last one's a 9, just because I
Last
love
one's
Prince of
69.
Crows. But like the Kaban Project brings it down for me.
I was gonna say 7.
I like the Crimson Fist, but like it's not like anything too crazy to me. Yeah, I think a 7's a good spot for like 7, 8. I enjoyed them. This was fun. Important to the heresy. It's not. Not really.
See, I think that a Prince of Crows is important to the heresy, though.
Yeah, I could see a Prince of Crows being important to the heresy, and I could also see the second one.
The Dark King.
Yeah, the Dark King, just for some like background between Dorn and Kurze. I don't know if that ever turns into anything, but if it did, I feel like that'd be important to know.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
Yeah, that's where I sit. Probably put it like a 5 as importance, maybe. We'll see. 5 TBD.
Sounds good.
But yeah, guys, that is the first half review of Shadows of Treachery. We will be back next week to review the latter half. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait to talk about Prince of Crows for 45 minutes, because that's going to be what's going to end up happening.
Pretty much.
As we talked about in the beginning of the episode, get into our giveaway. It is going to be done on December 11th episode. In order to get involved, make sure you just interact with us. Email us at theheresylodge@gmail.com. Tweet at us at heresylodge. Join the Discord. Talk to us on there. You can find that pinned to our Twitter. It's a good time. Leave a comment on the YouTube. Leave us an Apple Podcast review, or wherever you listen to the podcast. If there's thank for review, leave one. We will add you to the list. It will be a Games Workshop voucher, and you guys get whatever you want. Currency doesn't matter, because they will convert it for us.
Yep.
So that's it, guys. I hope you have a good one, and we'll be back next week to review Shadows of Treachery Part 2.